Today we're going to take a lot of stuff that we've been talking about, like balance, placement, lines, perspective, depth, and bring it all together. And this is what you're going to first get to start with, which you should have already done. For our drawing prompt, you drew a hot air balloon. This is a sheet that I made for you. You're going to add your design. I would choose something simple and basic. I would not get a lot of detail in here because you're eventually going to be painting these lines with black acrylic paint, and then you're going to fill in the colors with oil pastel. Okay? And on this one, I want you to think of the cubes that we've been drawing. I want you to try to make it look three-dimensional. And you all have a stencil. If you want to use a stencil, you can. If you feel like you can draw it okay, then that's fine. But the point of this lesson is using all the things that we've talked about. So if it's going to take you too much time to draw, then I'd rather use a stencil. I want you to think about placement. I want you to try to have a couple, if you want, on your page. What I like to do as an artist is create some interest by having it come off the paper. Here's your mat underneath for when you're painting. The first step is you're going to take your stencil, use your pencil, place them, outline them with a pencil lightly. Mine is a little darker so you can see it on the video. After that, then you will get acrylic, which you may or may not have used acrylic before. It's inexpensive. It's 50 cents from Walmart. Inside you have a special container. The fifth graders are also using this for what they're working on, so please take care of them. If you notice, I don't have any paint around the outside because I didn't put that much on my brush. These are the lids. You're going to be very carefully putting them on there at the end. Hopefully I'll have enough for everybody to have some. You will use a paintbrush, a round paintbrush, to paint your lines. Remember, that's the danger zone. Don't put your fingers in it. And I've already got it drawn, pretty simple. 2 different designs. The first one is just for you to practice on. And I typically put my pinky down. I don't know if you can see that on the video or not. I put my pinky down so I'm not getting inside where I'm painting and going over it. And you're trying to guide it. Pull that paintbrush down. Try to have it be a nice, thin, straight line. Then you're going to go around. I typically outline it first, and then I go back in and I add my detail of my lines. The next step after this, on the next class, because this has to dry, then you will take oil pastels and fill in the colors. And this is the beginning part of the balloons. See how I have it all painted in? I've got my lid back on it. I don't have a mess. Then it might be easier for us, instead of using the dog bowls to do this, is to have your own container. See how little bit of water that I have in there? This is just to clean the acrylic off your brush. Make sure you're not splattering. Clean it as best you can. Take your paper towel. Remember how we are very gentle with Miss Paula. Reshape her and put her back in the tray. Okay, my black acrylic paint is dry. Oh, there might be a little bit of a sheen here. I want to go ahead and get this video going. These are your oil pastels. They're in trays, or they might be in a box. Please take care of them. Don't squeeze really hard on them. Remember, they're basically yummy crowns. They're made of oil paint. And work from left to right. I have scrap paper underneath. Cover up stuff if you need to so you don't get it all over your hands. And choose, look at the side of it for whatever name that it says. There's the color name. You can check on your scrap paper first, make sure it's the right color you want. If you do need to peel it, they are have different ones. Some of them are different shapes. Like I said, these have stickers on them. The label might be kind of sticky. And you don't want to color on top of the paint. And like I said, it's very smooth. There are different types of techniques that you can do when you use oil pastels. They're very creamy. You can just color it like that. You can take your finger, which you're going to need a paper towel if you do something like this. Some of the brands work a little better at blending than the other. I personally don't really want to blend mine. You can also add white on top, which makes it kind of messy. It's up to you. This is your artwork. You're only coloring in the balloons. If you want to leave a white space and not color in the oil pastel, I'm fine with that too. You can create a pattern. I like the blue with the white contrast. This right here would be where the sky you would see through. This is the basket. See how I drew it where it looks like a cube? It's three-dimensional. I would like for you to try that. You could also come in with leave an area white and make a pattern using broken lines, dotted lines. I love hot air balloons. It's on my bucket list to sometime to go on a hot air balloon. However, I am scared of heights, so I don't know how that would go. And I'm going to color this all in with oil pastels. Then in the background, I'm going to paint it, so you'll see the next step. I'm back. I wanted to show you a couple different things. Reminder, my hands are dirty. You know, as artists, we get dirty. It's no big deal. I do have this scrap piece of paper over here. See how where I colored? You're going to be coloring the next day because of this. That black paint was still wet, but I'm here on a Saturday wanting to get this video done for you guys. See, I've got a big glob of oil pastels. If you try to rub that off, you will smear your picture. Instead, just kind of try to grab it with your fingernail as best you can. Wipe it on a paper towel. Have this here. When you're coloring, what I wanted to show you is we've been talking about spheres and trying to make things look like the shape of it and giving the illusion. See how I'm coloring in that direction? It just helps create the illusion that that object is curved. There's another little piece. I'm going to pick this up. So you will come back in after that. Like I said, this might take several days to do this project, but that's okay. We want it to look amazing. I have the matte again for when I'm painting. These are liquid watercolors, so you do not have to add water to them. You'll be sharing this with your shoulder buddy. Make sure that you're not bumping them, keeping your space organized. Using one or two at a time so we don't have a mess. That way if it does spill, we won't have paint everywhere. I have brand new paintbrushes this year. They're nice and long. When we use Miss Paula, we make sure that we take care of her. Remember, this is the danger zone. Don't put your fingers in it. Use it like it's a wand. We never scoot or push the paint. Instead, we pull and lift up. And don't do the booty scoot because that ruins her hair. And only dip her tip. She only likes to have her hair highlighted, not the whole thing to be covered in paint. I'm going to choose a blue. You can choose whatever background you want. Remember, this should be your sky. And you're going to want to go right up to the edge. I'm trying to paint and hold this so you can see a little bit better. And if possible, go right up to that black. Like I said, it should be dry. Mine is the only one that wouldn't be dry because I'm trying to do all this really quick here. If you want to go in and put some different colors in your sky, if you've ever seen a night sky, I'm fine with that too. You could put some purples in, maybe some yellows. You could also leave some of it white. Maybe you have some clouds. This is up to you. But be careful when you're painting that you don't splatter because you only want to be doing the background, okay? And I'm going to put all these videos together. And another thing I want you to be aware of is right in here, this should be painted too because it is your background. Now, I would not paint that because that's my balloon. I'm probably just going to go ahead and paint the whole thing. If you wanted to, in the beginning stages, draw your clouds. See how I've got a lot right here? I'm going to bring this watercolor around because I don't want it sopping wet. And when you are done, artist, you clean your paintbrush, dry her hair, Miss Paula's hair, reshape it, set it on your tray. Do not ever leave her in the water. Remember, she can't swim. We don't want her to drown. And it's not good for her hair and the barrels and all that. We've talked about that before. And when they go on the drying rack, they go on the bottom and work your way up. You can leave the mat with it if you want. You're old enough that you can probably remember that when you're using the mats, where to put them. I forgot to tell you, you can use a Sharp A because we're fancy, and art class to write your name if you wanted to. And that's pretty much it. These are going to be beautiful. Hopefully you were able to create the illusion of depth. We talked about placement of objects. If you have two objects and you have one up higher, then it looks like it's in a distance. So, good luck today.